Why is coronavirus killing more men than women at a higher rate, killing men than women? Early, we had just the case numbers and death numbers from China. And we immediately saw a much higher rate of death for men than for women. And the suggestion was that in China, culturally, men smoke more than women. Men are much more likely to be smoking cigarettes. And we know cigarettes weaken your respiratory system, they can depress your immune system. And because coronavirus seems to vary a lot depending on the underlying health condition of the person infected, men were more likely to die in China because men are much more likely to be smokers. It seemed plausible in any case. The trend, though, is continuing in a lot of different countries. And we are now seeing that in Italy, men are 60% of the cases, but 70% of the deaths. In South Korea, more women have tested positive, but yet the deaths are 54% men. The U.S. so far is not releasing this detailed level of information, so we don't know what's going on here. The U.S. should start releasing that data. But in total, for all countries where we have data, men are about 50% more likely than women to die after being diagnosed. Now, remember, 50% can mean if women have a 2% death rate, men have a 3% death rate. That's 50% more. I don't want people to misunderstand the numbers around that. So what's at play here? The smoking issue does seem to be a factor, and possibly alcohol consumption as well. We have world data from 5 years ago. And as of 5 years ago, 36% of men over age 15 smoke, where only 7% of women over age 15 smoke. That's a big difference. And if indeed smoking is essentially a comorbidity with coronavirus, that is important. Meanwhile, alcohol consumption for men is 11 liters, where it's 2 liters for women. That may be a factor. We saw that SARS and MERS also had higher death rates for men than women. So it seems not unique to COVID-19. And there's also a general evolutionary idea that maybe women have stronger immune responses to viruses in general because of pregnancy essentially being living 9 months of your life with a foreign body inside of you. It may confer some kind of survival advantage. There could be a hormonal element to this. And then also actual pre-existing conditions appear to be a factor. We know that pre-existing conditions increase mortality for COVID patients. Check out some of the gender differences. Men more likely to have heart disease than women, stroke than women, COPD, a lung disease, and slightly more likely to have high blood pressure. All of these conditions are known to increase the death rate from coronavirus. So the takeaways are the death rate is remaining higher for men than women in all of the countries providing data. We initially heard this out of China. Other countries providing us this data seem to be confirming the same thing. Number two, the U.S. is not providing data of this type, and the U.S. really should start. So that's the second takeaway. We're going to continue following this and see sort of where we come up as we get more data.